And good evening, everybody, and welcome into another edition of the Hockey Night on Board Flyers pregame show. I'm your host, James Scorza, with you as tonight the Philadelphia Flyers play their second game of a back-to-back on the New York Swing as they battle the New York Islanders and meet up for the second time this season. And a pleasure good evening, everybody. Like I mentioned, glad to be with you for another 15 minutes or so for this Flyers and Islander matchup. As the Flyers coming into this game tonight, a disappointing outing last night up at Madison Square Garden, where the Flyers had the chance early on to get the momentum, but unfortunately, things started to go in the Ranger favor, and especially last night, it was one game that the Flyers had to expect that would have happened, but at the same time, basically the Rangers gave them an offer that they couldn't refuse. But like we always do before we go into our recap, and we always talk about the previous games. We always recap the previous game that happened last night up at MSG between the Flyers and the Rangers. So the Flyers early on will get an early immediate response, and that was the first thing that happened. A minute and 35 seconds into the game, it was Owen Tipp again, the first goal, beating Rangers netminder Igor Shesterkin to give the good guys an early 1-0 lead. Later on in the first period, the Flyers had some chances alongside the other side of the net for the Rangers, but it was a back and forth kind of play. And it looked to me that the Flyers tried to get opportunities, but Shesterkin, on the other hand, was standing tall, and the score would remain as a 1-0 Flyers lead. But the Rangers will get a response, though, as it was getting closer and closer to the end of the first stanza, as it was Braden Schneider beating Flyers netminder Sam Ersson and will tie the score up at 1-1. But that was not all the case. That was the first of many goals on this night for the Rangers, but the last time the Rangers had scored a goal and got a response, it was 2 minutes later. It was after the Flyers were caught in their zone, and it was Adam Enstrom beating goaltender, being the netminder Ersson once again. And the Rangers had their first lead of the night at a 2-1 lead, and that will stay that way after 20. To the second period we go, and the Rangers are going to try to get another response, and it was a big beginning portion of the second stanza, and it was Keandre Miller getting the loose change in front and beating Sam Ersson short side, and it will make it a 3-1 Rangers lead in the second. But the big story in that second period, more than anything like that, it was the goaltender matchup of both Shesterkin for the Rangers and Ersson for the Flyers, kept the score only at a 3-1 score for the Rangers and would stay that way after 40 minutes in the books. To the third and final period in New York this night, as the Rangers got credit for 3 more goals in the third period. The first one came in around early on in the third period. It was Philip Hedl giving the Rangers a 3-goal cushion to make it a 4-1 Rangers lead. But the Rangers will score one more time to get an empty netter by Adam Fox to make it 5-1. But you would have thought that would have been the tail of the tape. Not the tail of the tape, but more like that would have been the last time the Rangers scored, but it did not take them long. Right after that, the Rangers will score one more goal out of it by Riley Smith to give the Rangers an all-point 6-1 victory over the Flyers, and will end up getting the 2 points out of it. And it was a 6-1 final last night up at MSG, as the Flyers are going to try to bounce back here tonight in Belmont, New York. As we set the stage for this matchup here tonight for the Flyers and the New York Islanders, the Flyers has the cause for concern the last couple games when they take on teams that have better records. For me, it's been like the same old song and dance I've been talking about all season long, that the teams that are better in competition, and frankly, the one team that's been playing better as of lately is the New York Rangers, as especially they came into competition with good players, especially, and after a 6-1 game that they won last night against the Flyers, I would expect more of the same that the Flyers have not done all season long, is that they started to go on a tailspin the last couple games, because usually after they lose a game like this, they bounce back the night after. If it is a back-to-back, and if it is, especially is the case here tonight, it will be more the same here tonight. What happened last night up up at MSG. But the big story in that game that night was more the Rangers. Too much of a hassle for the Flyers, obviously, as you can look down at what the Rangers are starting to get red hot after a disappointing kind of last few months, obviously. But for the Rangers, we will see them not long after this game here, but we see the Islanders 3 times in a matter of 2 weeks, and it begins here again here tonight up in Belmont. For the Flyers are going to try to bounce back here tonight. I would expect it will be a good outing for them here tonight at. I'm not sure what their arena is called. I used to be associated that I thought it was still in Long Island. I guess they moved to Belmont after they got their new arena, so it's But as far as the Islanders are concerned, first up a back-to-back is always key here. But for the Islanders' sake, looking at trying to win their 3rd straight game after a couple wins against Columbus and the San Jose Sharks the last couple games, as they've gone for lucky win number 3 under Patrick Waugh. But for the last time the Flyers did play against the Islanders, it was a close game. It was a close outing for the Islanders and the Flyers, but that game made it realize that the one guy was a big story in that game was Bo Horvat, who had a couple goals in that 2-game winning streak for up in the Islanders, and I can expect him tonight. He'll have more of the same outcome like he did against the Flyers in the first meeting of the season. So, like I said, keeping a close eye on for Bo Horvat, and also keep a close eye on for that other guy that took out Ryan Poehling in a couple games ago. That I forget his name now, but he's going to probably have a target on his back to see what he has in store for that upcoming matchup. So, yeah, it's going to be one of those games that, like, especially that he got suspended for that hit that Ryan Poehling that got hit by. After that hit that he suffered to Ryan Poehling, I think he suffered a 3-game suspension. So, I guess he'll be back in the lineup tonight for this upcoming matchup between the Flyers and the Islanders. All right, let's go to our who's trending up and who's trending down on this night. For the Flyers, it's a little bit of a positive, I would say. I mean, obviously it wasn't a positive last night, though, but obviously for teams that are playing in the Metropolitan Division for the Flyers right now, it will be a big key to get some wins out of it here tonight, as it will be only the second time after this game here tonight in New York, the Flyers will play another back-to-back with another team that they just saw around a week ago in the New Jersey Devils. That will be on Monday and Wednesday night. That will be Monday at the Wells Fargo Center and at Prudential Center on a Wednesday night of Wednesday night hockey. And I would be pretty sure that I will be obviously I would be back for the pregame show, but I guess I'll be on the assignment that night to cover the post-game show for Stream Punk Entertainment, so stay tuned for that. But for the Flyers, it's concerned is that the last game for the Islanders, it was the last time these two clubs met against each other. It was a good outing for the Flyers, but it was a little too close to comfort towards the end. But the Flyers got the 2 points out of it, and I expect more of the same here tonight for the Flyers. And I guess the power play is starting to play a little bit of a factor here. They played very well last night on the power play, but unfortunately, like I said, the Rangers just got away, and they really didn't get it going, honestly. I think that's the one thing that they have to do here tonight against teams that are in that Metropolitan Division. You got to get some wins out of it, and especially teams that are looking on the outside looking in. That's going to be a big key here coming into this matchup. And the next time we'll see the Islanders will be in another matchup. This time will be in South Philadelphia next Thursday as the Flyers take on the Islanders. That will be on Thursday, January 30th at the Wells Fargo Center. But for who's trending down on this night, it's basically both sides looking on the outside, looking in, and sometimes a back-to-back between the Flyers and back-to-back games can have a little bit of fatigueness. I think that's going to be the big game here tonight. But obviously, like I said early on in this program here, they don't play like after a game that's a little bit rusty for them. They play a lot better the second game. And also, the Rangers are still desperately looking for answers too. So, for the Islanders' sake, I think this will be, I wouldn't say dare I say in our quotes, a schedule win. But this is probably a good matchup here tonight to finally get back on track with that. And I think it'll be a good matchup for the Flyers to get back on track. And the one thing I was really curious to know is that the Flyers have played very, very well against the Islanders as of lately. Nothing will make me feel better to go into NFC Championship weekend with the Eagles taking on Washington to see the Flyers get some 2 points out of it, and also come back with a high note coming home against New Jersey on Monday. All right, let's go into our injuries and scratches for this game here tonight. And it's always the same old injuries that the Flyers have had the last couple weeks, obviously, and even the last couple games or so. Nick Delorier is still suffering from that upper body injury, so he's going to miss another game tonight. Ryan Poehling is going to miss another game due to that upper body injury, that he suffered in that game over the Islanders against the Islanders a couple nights ago. The last time when these two clubs met against each other. And Scott Laughton is going to still be out day to day now due to that family matter. I hope, like I said, everybody is okay. I just hope everybody's okay on the Laughton side of family. But like I said, he'll be missing this game tonight due to another family matter. It's also due to another. He's going to be. He missed. I think he missed the last couple games. It was either. I think he's been out for quite some time, for a couple of games now, so it's because of personal reasons. And like I said, hopefully everything is okay between the Laughton family and everybody. That is, I just hope everybody's okay with that. So like I said, Delorier, Ryan Poehling are still on the injury list, and Scott Laughton is going to miss this game tonight due to personal reasons. All right, let's try to get into our starting goaltender matchup for this game here tonight between the Flyers and, the Islanders. In goal tonight for the Flyers, rather. In goal tonight for the Flyers, it will be Ivan Fedotov who will be back in goal tonight for the Flyers. I can imagine it will be an off night for Sam Ersson after giving up 6 goals last night to the Rangers. And I did not expect him to be in the lineup here in this game here tonight. As for Fedotov's record is 4-5-3 this season and has a goals against average of 3.26. And he'll be opposed by Ilya Sorokin for the Islanders, and also has a 500 record this season of 14-14-4 this season. Basically a 500 at best goaltender this season, but he has a goals against average of 2.81. So a different circumstance for Fedotov than it does for Ilya Sorokin. So it'll be Fedotov for the Flyers, and for the Isles, it will be Sorokin. So a battle of the two Russians in this game here tonight for this matchup here. And for my predictions in this game here tonight, I expect more of the same here tonight as the last couple games, not to mention last night's game between the Flyers and the Rangers. This will be a good game to get back on track. Obviously, I think the one thing I really wanted to see here tonight is see a couple players from that Noah Cates, Tyson Forster, and Bobby Brink line to start to play with a little bit of a force. The power play is starting to play a little bit better as of lately, but if you can get back on track with that power play sake, it will be a good thing too. So I see the Flyers probably winning this game here tonight, and this will be a good matchup to get a win after the second game of the New York road trip swing, and then come home to take on the Devils for 2. And then to play the Islanders again, like I mentioned, on Thursday night as the second game of that back-to-back. And I can imagine that will be the Flyers will be playing the Devils on Wednesday night, and they'll be back home on Thursday for a back-to-back. And after a while, after these couple games, there will be a couple players for the Flyers like Matvei Michkov, Travis Konechny, and the list goes on and on. They'll be playing in the Four Nations face-off. That'll be coming up in the next matter of couple weeks or so. So after these couple games, the Flyers will have a much-needed time off to recharge and get them ready for the second half. There is no All-Star game this year, so that's going to take place of that's what's going to take place in. I mean, I never heard of the Four Nations face-off, but it'll be good to see what they have in store. But after that, like I said, after the Flyers have that chance, after the Four Nations face-off, that'll be the second half of the season, and they'll be looking to recharge and also get ready for the second half of the season, because playoff season will be, and that's when the time will be ready for everybody to look to see what they're made of against teams that are good in that division, and also Metro, and even the Atlantic, and even Western Conference along the way as well. All right, that's going to wrap it up here. That's going to wrap up for the Hockey Night on Board Flyers pregame show. But remember to stay tuned after the game for the Third Line John Flyers postgame show. I got you covered tonight alongside my colleague Joey Marks from the Pass and F Sports Show. So we got double duty tonight. We got the Flyers postgame show tomorrow. I'm sorry, we got the Flyers postgame show tonight, and then we'll see you back here right on Hardcore Sports Network at the beginning of the show beginning of the morning show tomorrow with the Pass and F Sports Show. So double duty for us, and we got you covered for that game immediately when the game goes final. Like I mentioned, I will be back on Monday when the Flyers take on the Devils at the first of a home-to-home between the Flyers and the Devils. That will be a 6:30 pregame show and 7 o'clock puck drop. I'll get it right eventually. 6:30 puck drop, 6:30 pregame show, 7 o'clock puck drop right here on Hardcore Sports Network. And that is going to wrap it up for us here on this show. Thanks for everybody that tuned in and joined us here tonight. Thanks for everybody that chimed in, and now for everyone behind the scenes and for everyone that made this work here. This has been the Hockey Note on Board Flyers pregame show, and I'm your host, James Scorza, saying so long from here. Until then, we'll see you back here for the postgame show. Enjoy the game, everybody, and we'll see you next time.